Welcome to tonight's tale, a fairy tale theater podcast. We are going through every single episode of Shelley Duvall's Fairy Tale Theater in alphabetical order. I'm your host, Emily, from Atlanta, Georgia, joined by my co-host, Eric.
Hi, it's me again, Eric from New York.
And this month, we are joined by my parents, actually.
I'm Niels from Atlantic Beach, Florida.
Cynthia from Atlantic Beach, Florida.
Happy to see you guys while you join us for tonight's episode, which is The Three Little Pigs. Eric, do you have the background information on this episode?
I do. Three Little Pigs aired on February 12th, 1985. It was season 4, episode 1. It was a season premiere of season 4. And it actually was taped December 12th, 1983 to December 16th, 1983. That was the taping a few months prior, actually a few years prior, because this came out in 85. So, wow. It was directed by Howard Storm, and it was written by our perennial favorites, Mark Curtis and Rod Ash. And Alistair Berry is also credited.
Listeners, I just want to give everyone a preview. We are going to be joined after the recap by a very special guest. Eric and I were lucky enough to get in touch with one of the original producers of this episode, Bridget Terry, and she has agreed to answer some of our questions, give us some of her memories of this episode. So that's coming up.
Yes, we're very fortunate to be talking to Bridget. So I think that's going to be really interesting to get some insight from Miss Bridget Terry. She had so much to do with every episode in Fairy Tale Theater, so we're very lucky to have her.
We're very, very thankful she agreed to join us. And she also said that this was one of her personal favorite episodes. Before the rewatch, what do we remember?
Oh gosh, this is just for me, it always stands out in my mind. It's just like the very silly one. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's funny, it's over the top, it's colorful, it's very different in tone than a lot of the other episodes. And yeah, it's just fun. I mean, the cast is fun. You got Billy Crystal, you got Jeff Goldblum, you have Valerie Perrine, you have just a really good overall cast of very fun, funny people.
Totally with you. Mom, what's the first thing you think of when you think of the Three Little Pigs?
The line that made me fall over laughing. Hey, Bacon Bits, where have you been all my life? And I thought, oh my God, a piggy pickup line.
You have quoted that line my entire life.
Didn't believe it.
Dad, what's the first thing you think of?
Oh, I'm King of the Cave.
Yes, I saw that coming a mile away. Dad, you've always been a fan of Buck Wolf.
Horror, henpecked, buck wolf.
And I'm with you. I wrote down the first thing I think of with Three Little Pigs. I wrote down Jeff Goldblum as Buck Wolf. And the first one that jumped to my mind was Valerie Perrine as Tina. I remember her Mae West. She's
Yes.
Why don't you come out and see me sometime?
Yeah, I just loved her performance. Billy Crystal, Fred Willard, I mean, another great stellar cast. There's always a great cast. And the other thing I thought of was the costumes. I remember Tina's dress being gorgeous and Buck Wolf's costume being so original and creative. I remember the art direction being very unique. It didn't seem like it belonged to any other episode, but if it was inspired by a particular illustrator, I can't name him or her. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have to ask Bridget, unless you know, Eric.
No, I don't. I agree with you. It went in such a fun direction. Just compare, Buck Wolf's costume to Reggie's costume in Little Red Riding Hood. It's such a different direction they went.
Oh, yeah.
And it was very effective. So effective.
Absolutely. Next question. How familiar is everyone with the original source material? I'll go first because I got the shortest answer. I don't think I've ever read it. I'm sorry to say, shame on me. I don't think I've ever read it. I believe this is one of the few original English fairy tales. I think it was Joseph Jacobs, but other than that, okay.
It was.
Other than that, I don't know. Eric, have you ever read the original story?
No, my only background with this story is really the fairy tale theater episode and then the Disney short film.
Oh, the Disney short film. I'm with you on that. Mom, are you familiar with the original story?
I have read the popular English one, and I read a little bit about the previous ones, which were a bit different. And they do not have as gentle an ending as this one does,
Oh,
which is better, more appropriate for children.
I can believe that. Now, Dad, you were the one who graciously volunteered to do your homework on this
Well, the
episode.
original one did not have a wolf. It had a fox.
Oh,
But the most popular one was the one by Jacobs in 1890.
okay. So we'll probably be calling on you throughout the recap to see how close we're following the original story.
Kelly did a good job.
There you go. What do we remember thinking of the episode when we first saw it? I remember loving it. I do not remember a time I did not love this episode, probably because of the two other people in this room who always loved this episode and always quoted it to me. Mom and Dad, I know you've always loved this episode.
Emily, the story moves nicely. She keeps it going and she makes all the characters interesting. So each one of the little pigs has a personality. One is a pickup guy, one is trying to be rich, and then Billy Crystal's just trying to be happy and love everybody.
He's a dreamer, yeah.
Mom, what do you remember thinking? You showed this to me and Caitlin when we were in diapers still.
Okay, well, I remember thinking how funny it is on several levels.
Yeah.
I mean, there are parts of it that have some double entendres. And to me, it was kind of like the old Rocky and Bullwinkle show because they made references to things. I don't remember any dirty jokes. I do remember a few dirty jokes from this one, but I don't remember any dirty jokes from Rocky and Bullwinkle, but I don't remember them because I wasn't old enough to get them. The thing is, if a kid is too young to understand it, it doesn't hurt them.
Well,
If they're old enough to get it, then they're old enough to get it.
Eric, what do you remember?
I remember a lot of that subtle adult humor, which is, come up in a lot of episodes of fairy tale theater with, be it Rapunzel. We've talked about Rapunzel. We've talked about in Sleeping
Pinocchio.
Beauty. We've talked about in Pinocchio. We've talked about in Frog Prince. I mean, there's so many examples of really funny, good moments that, definitely as a kid, we didn't get the joke. But then when we got older, we're like, oh, yeah, yeah. But this is like a whole episode of those jokes. Whereas like a lot of those episodes, like one moment here and there, this was like a lot in your face, like the whole time. That's what makes this episode so special, is that it's a great example of fairy tale theater at its finest, being making something that was enjoyable to the parents and to the kids at the same time.
Exactly. Very well said, Eric. And this is a perfect example of why I wanted my parents to join me on this, because they saw it for the first time when they were adults and they had two small children in the house. But they thought it was charming and funny, and they saw nothing objectionable to show their little kids to. And
Exactly. Everybody loved it.
yeah, and we still do. Starting our rewatch, it begins as all of our episodes do with our introduction by Shelley. And this time she's sitting in front of the brick house. She's in that cute little red plaid dress with the little hat. Okay, I loved her little hat. She looked adorable.
So cute. We love when Shelley tries to dress a little bit on theme for the episode, and love that.
Hello, I'm Shelley Duvall. Welcome to Fairy Tale Theater. Tonight we follow the adventures of a family of pigs. We see how the runt of the litter teaches his brothers that inspiration and just plain hard work is the only way to keep the wolf away from the door. The three little pigs.
And we love the introduction by the music. The music is so
Yes.
good.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about the music. The music in this episode is very unique. Every character seems to get its own theme. Buck Wolf definitely has his own saxophone theme. Tina's got her theme. Larry and his oboe. I'm gonna have some notes about Larry and his oboe coming.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like Tina's like a very vampy kind of like saxophony. Not a saxophone, but like a horn, right? Is it a horn?
Yeah. Yeah, I think she had
Yeah,
the
yeah.
horn. Buck had the saxophone. I think Larry had the oboe and maybe a violin, if I'm remembering.
Yeah.
It was an interesting score. It's not one I'd necessarily say hummable, not like some of the others, but it worked. It seemed very character driven, almost like Peter and the Wolf. Every character had their own theme.
Well, you have Rob Muir, who is the music producer, who pretty much was on for almost every project that Bridget did with Shelley. So, Fairy Tale Theater, Tall Tales and Legends, Nightmare Classics. He was pretty much there for all of them. Chet Himes, he was our music engineer and music mixer, and he's been a perennial as well for Tall Tales and Legends. And yeah, it was very good. It's very unique. It didn't sound like any of the other episodes. Very jazz inspired, very effective.
Love it. The next we get our opening credits, and Billy Crystal got top billing. That's not unexpected. Then I think it was Jeff Goldblum, our Buck Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
A name that popped up that I completely forgot that was in this, Doris Roberts. How did I forget she was in this?
Yeah, Doris Roberts was Mother Pig.
Yeah, the late great Doris Roberts.
Well, she didn't have as big a role.
She didn't.
Or as memorable, really.
I think she was probably a little underused. I'm sorry to say, but she was a great comedic actress, and it was lovely to see her in this.
And Everybody Loves Raymond. That was
Everybody
her big
Loves
moment.
Raymond. Yeah. And one name I didn't recognize and I had to look up was Larry Hankin. He played Mr. Man.
Yeah, Mr. Bertman. Yep.
Yeah, he was an actor that I had to look up because I'm going, gosh, I know I've seen him. I've seen him 100 places. He's a character actor that's been around a lot. He was in Home Alone. He was in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I think he worked with John Hughes a lot. So it was good to read a little bit about him.
He's been around a lot. He's always like a that guy actor.
He's another that guy actor, exactly. Like we've all seen him somewhere, but he's a chameleon. So we open with Larry playing his oboe, and it's Ma Pig's house with our three brothers that, yes, are named Peter, Paul, and Larry.
Well, one thing I noticed that I thought was interesting is that Larry gets this baby rainbow outfit. He looks like a kindergartner.
Yeah.
But he's the smallest of all of them. And then Paul, that one that really tries to pick up Tina, looks like he thinks he's a real stud, complete with gold medallion.
Yeah.
And a hairy chest.
Yeah, a hairy chest. And it opens with him admiring himself in the mirror.
Dog, you. I sure am glad I'm handsome. You sure can't tell who got the looks in this family.
And Stephen First is our third little pig, and he's in a suit. He's our miser.
But yeah, the costume for Larry is something that I noticed right away because it's so colorful and it has like the alphabet around
like
the belts.
It did.
Yeah, it has the alphabet going all the way around the waistband. So yeah, that's what I agree with you. It's like a child's outfit kind of thing.
He's the least childlike of them all.
Well, he's the smartest, but he looks to me, I wrote down art teacher. Because he's got like, doesn't he like even have like a beret or something going on?
Yeah, he has a beret. And the costumes are great. Like I love how the attention to hoofs for the hands and hoofs for the feet.
Oh yeah.
And the padding to make them like have big pig bottoms. It was just such attention. Like it wasn't just we're throwing these costumes on these people and they're pigs now. It's like no, it's such smart attention to things.
You know,
and they fight like brothers.
Yeah.
All brothers.
They do. They all bicker.
Ma, will you tell Larry to quit playing his oboe so loud? It hurts my ears.
Oboes aren't loud, they're expressive.
You know, you're both crazy. Ma, tell them they're both crazy.
Not crazy.
I'm just trying to look at myself.
Shut up.
That was Doris Roberts coming in, and she informs the brothers that she thinks it's time for them to leave home, which doesn't play well.
That was a cute moment when she's giving them all their inheritance. She's talking about like that it's time to go home, and then they're gonna each get their inheritance from their dad. And their dad left them some money. Papa was a Rolling Stone.
He didn't get interest though.